Yeah, it's John Grube from WildManTraining.com. Today I did a pretty simple workout using a plastic orange sled, kid sled for sledding, which I always use, a field, and some extra weight. And a lot of people don't realize how difficult dragging a sled made for snow is, dragging it over clumps of grass and different type of environment. It's not flat, obviously. There's divots, there's bumps, there's hills, little hills. And in the gym, you see a lot of people pushing and pulling heavy weight, heavy as they can. And it's basically for ego, because where they're building strength, it really doesn't make them better, other than for pictures and likes on Instagram and the other things. When I show my workouts, are pretty fucking boring. They're boring. But also boredom, and you can get through them. It builds a little bit on mental toughness. Where I do know that if you are pushing and pulling on something flat and easily, something that easily slides, it's not as difficult. I mean, I've done things like, for instance, being on a loading dock over the years and pulling 2,000-pound skids with a pallet jack across the dock. I can tell you right now, some of these weights I put in this sled and drag it over grass seems a lot harder than dragging a 1,500 or 2,000-pound pallet across a concrete, smooth loading dock. And that's just a fact of it. I've done it, my entire life, and I can tell you right now, with a little bit of weight, walking up and down the field, you're going to test your conditioning, the strength of your thighs, your legs, your calves, your heart, your lungs. Well, what I did today, it took me about 11 minutes. I used a whole 65 pounds. And all I wanted to do was get the legs loose. And so what I did, because I knew it would be easy for me, I kept my arms in a position to where they were being held isometrically. So the 65 pounds was 400 yards I went. And the 400 yards, I kept my arms in an isometric, about 90-degree angle the whole way. Switched it up a little bit. On the way down, kept both arms up, keeping the tension on the bicep and the forearms. Coming back, I used one arm, kept it kind of crucked like this, switched sides, and then came back dragging it with my arms intertwined, which kept tension on the biceps and the upper body for almost 11 minutes. And I can tell you right now, anybody that's ever tried something like that, it's kind of like if you go to the gym and you do some curls. People go slow, they hold it. You know how fast your biceps will fatigue and give out. Well, when you do that for 400 yards and you're dragging something, you're using your legs, which you're going to breathe heavier. It's a lot tougher to keep your arms in or anything in an isometric hold while you're trying not to breathe heavy. Because as soon as you start to breathe heavy, you're going to start to be fatigued, and your arms and whatever else is going to start to give out. Like I said, I use 65 pounds. And what that will do for me is that, like, I'm back to the people that push and pull these heavy amounts in the gym. They think that will carry them over to longer distance, which I don't know why they're doing it. I know why I'm doing what I do. And I can tell you right now, I could push a ton of weight for a short distance also. Maybe even a little bit further, because I'm conditioned to go a little bit further. But I can tell you right now, those people that only go 5 or 10 or 15 yards, give them a lot lighter weight, put them on a field, and have them drag it back and forth, and see how quick they decide that this ain't for them. Like like I said, man, I do my things for what I might run up against, what society might run up against. I think it's more functional. I think it's more primal. I think it's more close to how man's supposed to actually live. Blue collar type work, living outside, doing your thing. It's like, and another thing is a lot of people that are hunters, they'll tell you, a lot of times they have to drag their animal out of the woods. And that's how a lot of hunters die. A lot of hunters die by having heart attacks because they're not conditioned enough to drag a deer, 100-pound deer, 80, 90, 100-pound deer, out of the woods over tree branches and logs and things like that. You know, that's just another way to look at it. So, I mean, there's ways of looking at the way I train as being more functional than what they do in the gym. But again, I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying there's other ways of doing it with less equipment and make you feel more close to nature. Later.